So for this video, we're going to be looking at an approach to playing 2-5-1s, and this is using pairs of triads from each scale and using them as a basis for our phrases. So we're going to use 3 scales. We're going to use the Dorian scale over the 2 chord, which sounds like this. And we're going to use the altered scale over the 5 chord, which is this. And we're going to use the Lydian scale over the 1 chord, which is this. Lovely. So I'm going to just go into a little more detail about each of those scales. First of all, the Dorian scale is the 2nd mode of the major scale, and in a nutshell, we're going to start and we're going to play D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Can we play that all together? 3 and. Great. So for your alto instruments, this is going to be your B Dorian, which would be B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, and B. And for your tenor instruments, this is going to be your E Dorian, which is going to be E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D.
There is a G sharp in that B minor as well for the alto.
Yes, of course.
That's obviously we're talking in concert keys, so if we've got the alto sax as an E flat, we're going to be in B minor, that's our B minor Dorian scale, which is B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. We can think about that as in being kind of A major, that's our home key, but starting from the B.
And if you're a B-flat instrument, so if you're a trumpet or a tenor or a soprano saxophone, that's going to be your E Dorian. That's E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E again at the top.
Great. And shall we play that Dorian scale again? And when we play the scale and we're practicing it, we want to think really carefully about how it sounds and how it feels. So let's play it one more time. 3 and. Great, that's our Dorian, which we are using for our 2 chord. For our 5 chord, we're going to be playing an altered scale, which consists of, for our G7 alt, that's going to be G, A flat, B flat, B, D flat, E flat, F, and G. And this sounds like this. Shall we demonstrate it? 3 and. Great, and Paul.
Yeah, so for altos, E flat instruments, that's E, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, and then back to E at the top.
And if you're a B-flat instrument, that's going to be A, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A.
Great. Shall we play that and see how it sounds one more time? 3 and. Great. And the altered scale gives us a real tense sound on our dominant chord. So the 5 chord of a 2-5-1 is there to create tension, and the 1 is there to release that tension. So we kind of like it if the 5 chords are as tense as can be, a lot of the time, not all of the time. But let's go to our Lydian chord, which we're using for our 1 chord, which is C major. And for concert instruments, this is going to be C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C.
E flat instruments, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A at the top.
And for B flat instruments, that's D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D.
Great, should we play it? 3, and... Lovely. So there's a worksheet that is accompanying this video. So those scales are written on that sheet. Spend a bit of time with them, get used to them on your instrument, and most importantly, memorize them. We don't want to be reading stuff like this. We want to have it in there, and in there, or there, or there. What we're going to do with this exercise, for each one, we're going to find 2 triads within that scale. Now for each scale, there's multiple triads, so feel free to use whatever triads you can find within that scale. If I look at Dorian, because I play the piano, I can see it all in front of me, and I can already see, an F major triad and a G major triad. F, A, C, and I can also find G, B, D. So if I pair those 2 triads together, that gives me a really nice sound of a D Dorian scale. So using inversions, I can play these all the way up my instrument. So if we play those as single notes and not as chords, we can start to create phrases that are really useful for improvisation. Shall we do that first phrase on the D Dorian? And this is, just to remind you, this is using triads F and G, and for B flat instruments, that's going to be A and B, and for E flat instruments, that's going to be D and E. Should we go for it? So this is just ascending, triads ascending in triplets. 1, 2, 3, and... Lovely. Great. And you'll find that phrase written out in the worksheet that has been sent through as well. Let's try our one starting on G7 altered. And this is going to start on a concert D flat and E flat triad. And for tenor instruments, that's going to be E flat and F. And for E flat instruments, that's going to be B flat and C. Let's try that. 3, and... Great, lovely, and let's try our Lydian scale, our Lydian triads that we're going to use. And we're going to use the triads of C and D in concert. And then for B flat instruments, that's going to be D and E. And for E flat instruments, that's going to be A and B. 3, and... Great. And if we put those together during a 2-5-1 chord progression, so that is a bar of D minor 7, a bar of G7, and a bar of C major, 2 bars of C major 7, it's going to sound like this. 3, Great, and you can find that phrase written out in the worksheet. So once you've learnt that phrase, what else can we do with it? How can we develop it? How can we adapt to it so that we can start to use these a little more organically than just playing one phrase that we've learnt here today? So Chris, have you got any ideas?
So at the moment we've just been kind of just ascending, and so this is a really nice way actually of kind of, this can be applied to a lot of different ways of playing scales and arpeggios. An obvious one is going to be, instead of just going ascending, we can vary that, so we can maybe go ascending to descending, ascending, descending, and kind of break it up like that.
Great, should we have an example?
Sure.
Great. 3, and... Great, so now we're going to play both of those examples, and this time Chris and Alicia are going to play the phrase, and then Nathan and I will keep playing so you can play that phrase back, and we'll do that for both phrases. 1, 2, 3. Lovely. So for piano players out there, these are also great shapes that we can use for comping. If we play the D minor, or our G7 alt, so don't forget about those as well. Lovely, so there's a sort of basic outline of triad pairs and how to use them over 2-5-1. Remember, we can do this with any scale. We can do this in every key. We should do this in all 12 keys. We should try out some different scales, try out some different triads and different pairings, and have fun with it and be creative. That's the most important thing.